The Justice Desk has launched 16 Voices for 16 Days. It's part of the 16 Days of Activism campaign, and the organization says the voices will be used to amplify the challenges of the fight against GBV. It hopes it will highlight, or it will be able to highlight what can be done and what can be used as a tool for change. So let's discuss this matter now with Jessica Dewhurst from the Justice Desk. Jessica, thank you so much for your time this morning. Talk to us about this campaign, 16 Voices for 16 Days. What is it all about?
Thank you so much for having me. So the Justice Desk, we're a human rights-based nonprofit organization. We try to empower everyday people to be human rights defenders and everyday activists. And our key areas are human rights education, children's rights, and of course, ending gender-based violence. And a lot of the time in our work, we empower, we equip, we train, we mentor people to stand up against GBV, to be able to work within their unique context, their own communities, to access whatever resources they can use within those spaces as well to lead incredible campaigns. But because we have this incredible grassroots connection, we're able to hear a lot of the voices from people on the ground, sharing their challenges in ending GBV. And what we found is that a lot of the time in the GBV space, people who are trying to fight gender-based violence are quite siloed. A lot of the time, there's just certain sectors that seem to be working together, whereas we wanted to create an open platform for everyone in South Africa to come together, to share their thoughts, to share their ideas, because it's our belief that, it's not up to just a few people to end gender-based violence. It has to be every single one of us. But in order for that to happen, we need to create a platform where people feel safe to come forward and say, I have an idea, I have a thought, I have some tools that I would like to recommend that we could use to end GBV. So we really hope that this can be an exciting campaign. We've invited 16 incredible people from all sectors across South Africa to share their thoughts, to share their ideas, to share their unique challenges in the work that they're doing to end GBV, in hopes to really inspire the rest of South Africa to say that, it doesn't matter who you are, whatever space or platform you're in, you have the responsibility to respond to GBV, and we hope that these 16 voices will inspire you to take the first step.
Let's talk a little bit further about the 16 voices, because in often cases it's been said, Jessica, that the way that we're able to tackle GBV effectively, particularly in the country, is that if women do not have the conversation alone. And what often happens is that the women are the ones that are at the forefront of actually saying, no, stop, end gender-based violence, end violence against children. And many would ask how many men are actually coming to the party practically to actually lend their voices and have this cohesive conversation around GBV. Are we looking at integrating these voices so that it's not just women saying stop with the GBV, but we've also got men that are holding other men accountable against for that would be perpetrators of gender-based violence?
Hugely so. At the Justice Desk, it's our belief that everything we do, we look at the root cause. What is the systemic injustice issue that we need to address here? Ultimately, gender-based violence is not a woman's issue. 9 out of 10 times the perpetrators are men. And in cases where men are being abused, the perpetrators in those cases still predominantly are men. So ultimately, GBV is a man's issue. This is a major problem, and something that we need to be speaking about more as a country. There's something fundamentally going wrong with our men and our young boys. We have a project called Nsiki Atemba, which mentors young boys without positive male role models, who are trying to deconstruct toxic masculinity and build positive ideas and actions of masculinity. For us, we're trying to say to men, masculinity is not bad, but it's what you do with it that makes a difference. And we often find, whether we're at court cases, whether we're at demonstrations, whether we organize community gatherings, it's women that are predominantly there. So this is also an opportunity and a platform for men to step forward and say, actually, let me speak to my fellow men and go, what is going on with us? What are we doing here? How are we trying to support women in this fight? But also, how are we taking responsibility in these spaces? So definitely, there are some very strong voices that stand out. One being Craig Lucas, who's our Global Goodwill Ambassador, very vocal about the fact that, fundamentally, men are not having enough conversations about gender-based violence and the roles that they play. Patriarchy is upheld to benefit men, and if you are a man, you automatically benefit from it. So, you can't, a lot of the time we say to men, you can't benefit from patriarchy and say you don't want to be involved in the fight against GBV. If you're benefiting from a system, you need to step up and actually say, what is the role I'm playing in upholding the system? And is the system just? Is it fundamentally just? And I think we can all agree that patriarchy isn't. So men need to be stepping forward and actually saying, we do not experience gender equality in this country. And as a man, I have a role to step forward. I have a very vital role to actually challenge the spaces I'm in to make sure that this is a country that is built on equality. And yes, so we have quite a few men who've joined the campaign.
Yeah.
Quite a few of our everyday activists are men as well, who are stepping forward and saying, it's time. We cannot end GBV if we only expect 50% of the population to fight against it. We all have to stand up against it, especially men.